All right, on this episode of Bout Talking Bouts, happy to be talking to an individual who has quite the intriguing fight going down at BFL 68. It's happening on September the 30th, the BFL bantamweight title up for grabs. And we have Gerico Platon taking on Serhiy Sidey. And excited to get some insights from Serhiy as I welcome him on the show. How's the day going so far there, man?
Day's going good, man. It's a recovery day. Today's Sunday, so spent the morning doing a little bit of mobility and stretching and spending time outdoors. So it's been a very productive day so far.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like there's a level of like physical benefit, but also probably some level of, cognitive relief getting that end of the game sorted out.
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah. Sundays, I always try to optimize that day, for recovery, learning, reviewing my notes, making sure that I rewatch all my sparring footage because I film all my rounds. And that kind of day, I just kind of sit back, relax my body, and reflect for the upcoming week. So I always feel really good coming in back on that Monday and into that hard training grind.
Yeah, I think it's cool you have that methodology. Like, I imagine a lot of that's informed by the fact that as much as you're a competitive, active fighter, you're also training people. So it's like you're applying that, like, almost trainer mentality to your own endeavors, if that's a fair characterization.
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah. Coaching and teaching students is definitely, makes me very, hyper aware of the things I'm doing. So, I definitely apply that kind of strategy into my own game plan and into my own training.
Yeah, and you seem to really, almost not live vicariously per se through some of the people you train, but there's that, tangible level of enthusiasm when they, get the result they're looking for there. Like I saw you had a post a while back where the little bro got the win in their kickboxing debut, and you're like, 13 years old, absolute killer.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've got a couple guys like that, a couple students like that now, man. A couple kids that won the provincial kickboxing tournament last year, and it's super cool to see, man. It's super cool to see their progression, and I'm trying to teach them all the stuff that I wish I knew when I was at their age. Not even just the physical, but the mental as well. I got these kids reading books, man, meditating, being mindful of their breath, a lot of things that now that they're applying it at such an early age, I'm just man, by the time they're my age, they're going to be on a different level. But that's how the game evolves.
Yeah, and that's a fair point for sure. And it's cool that you're, doing that and everything like that. How long have you been following the sport for? Because in doing the background on you, it seems like you've been avidly following it for quite a while. So I imagine you have a fair bit to impart just on not just a level of being a fighter, but also just, observing the space for quite a while too.
Yeah, man, I'd say it's about 10 years now, man. A decade of training, of solid training, making that my number one priority. When I was a little younger, again, I was showing up at the gym 3-4 times a week, but for about the first 2-3 years, that's what it was. And then after that, man, I think when I hit middle of high school, I just became just one track minded, just focused on fighting. So, man, when I'm not training, man, I'm either watching jiu-jitsu training videos or some kind of form of mental training or something that's going to help me become a better fighter. That's my only goal. I don't really have passions outside of fighting that I'm really into.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Whatever lights your soul on fire, you got to pursue it. And it seems like you're very much doing that. And to that point, you seem very kind of interwoven in the fabric of Burlington Training Center and stuff like that. How cool has it been to see just the promotion get back to it on the end of putting on fights, but also it seems from what I can tell, the training landscape there is a touch better. How has it been at, BTC as of late, just on those couple levels I outlined?
Yeah, so yeah, man, the promotion is doing great, man. They're they really care about the fighters and the MMA community. They're doing everything they can to put on these shows, and we need them as the Canadian fighters. We really need them to display our martial arts. I know so many guys that couldn't get fights that are finally able to start getting fights because of BTC, and the gym itself, man. The level is increasing so much. We have great coaches there, Paul Jalbert, Adam Senza, me. It's a high level room, and you just watching Paul training these guys in the last few years, the level of jiu-jitsu's just increased. The strikers in the room from my boxing, kickboxing, that has increased a lot. We have Saturday sparrings at the gym now, and there's like a lot of amateur up and comer guys coming up, and it's cool. It's cool to see the level of the room increase a lot.
Yeah, it seems like the gym has grown by leaps and bounds over the years, just continually, bolstering the profile. And I just like how they present a lot of their, different things too. Like when they had the, second annual MMA awards there, and you got the knockout of the year, like stuff like that is fun too.
Yeah, man, 100%, right? They're always trying to do something different and always trying to build and build and build. Like they're trying to push those boundaries and keep everything growing, which is why they've been so successful, I think.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that too. And just kind of briefly pivoting back to what you were talking about it being a high level room there. Like I've seen you get and work with different guys. Like even Kyron Cameron, like Kyle Nelson came through there. I saw like last year at some point. Like who have you been working with specifically ahead of this camp here?
I've been working with my main training partner, Brad Barrick. It's a lot of the House of Champion guys, the Niagara top team guys. So we've got guys coming from different gyms. I'm getting a lot of different looks. A lot of guys, I haven't actually sparred too many times coming in, so I'm getting those new bodies, new looks. Like you mentioned, Kyron. I got Adam Senza there. I got a bunch of good high-level Niagara top team guys always swinging by every single week. Just a ton of different bodies. But this camp, man, I was really focused on like getting my opponent's style body types, and I was very lucky to have a lot of different guys that came in for me to help me out for that body type.
Yeah, that's cool that you personalize it to like the different fights and stuff like that. I mean, that's an interesting methodology. I feel like I would be doing that if I was a fighter too. But just in talking about that, I mean, like, what are you looking like to replicate on that end of things? Like, is there a certain like stylistic consideration too, or more just the body type kind of thing? Because it seems like your opponent like pretty well rounded. I mean, got the knockout and submission win in their couple of pro endeavors so far there. So is there like a stylistic mirroring that you're doing as well, or more just the mirroring in the general body type? Both.
That's a good question. Both. So, like, for example, like the two things I've been looking for in this camp is like, first, kind of getting that build of like a little bit shorter but stockier kind of build. A strong guy, which my opponent definitely looks like he is, and then also sparring a couple explosive strikers that like love to like swing, right? And they come out hard first. So like. Just like my opponent, again, he comes out right off the gates and he's 100% full throttle forward, right? So I'm getting used to that feeling of like, as soon as the bell rings, we're on at 100%, right? And I'm getting a mix of both. I obviously would love like one certain person to replicate all of that, but it's hard to find that. So I have different bodies for different things. But yeah, so looking for the style and also looking for the body type. But I got a lot of both of that in this camp.
Well, that's good to hear, man. I just wanted to kind of touch on the last, I was going to say go around, but I guess like attempted go around would be the way to phrase it there, because it seemed like in very close proximity to the last one there with the Ali fight, BFL 67. It seemed like things got canceled in pretty close proximity to the fight. Like I imagine that was like a fairly like deflating sort of thing, but just, you seem like a reflective guy based on what we've talked about. Like, is there a level of utility you get from an experience like that, or is it kind of just like, that sort of sucked, just dust myself off, move on kind of deal?
The first little bit, man, it was kind of surreal because like I weighed in, did my medicals, and I was just kind of hanging out there, ready to take some media stuff. So like in my brain, like I'm like, okay, everything's done. Like there's no thought process at all that the fight could possibly be canceled at the last moment. So when it was, it was definitely a little bit frustrating at first, and my emotions were a little bit mixed. But again, like once I actually was able to sit down and kind of reflect on things, I just took the positives from the camp because I grew so much from the camp. I built up my grappling and my wrestling a lot, and I got all that experience training for a 5-round fight. Like I never sparred hard for 5 rounds like that consistently in camp. So like I got all that stuff done, made weight, felt good, and So I took the lessons from that, and I'm just gonna apply. I applied it right next to the next camp here, so everything is really dialed in.
Yeah, and I imagine there's the familiarity, just like you said. I mean, you went through like every part of the process. It's one of those junctures where it's like, oh, well, I pretty much have to fight now. And I was seeing some of the articles talking about how, that fight would have been your first time competing out west. So I imagine there's a level of like, taking that element away. There's just a level of familiarity going into it. Like it's not like a completely new set of surroundings per se.
Exactly. Yeah, I was at the weigh-in. I felt the surroundings. I flew across Canada. Like I've done all those things. So now that it's going to happen again, like you said, exactly, it'll be much more familiar, and I'll kind of know what the process is, and it'll be much more familiar to me.
No doubt, and I wanted to touch on the broadcast platform there because we were talking about your MMA fandom for quite a while. Like, is there a certain level of enthusiasm being on UFC Fight Pass? I've also talked to some fighters where they're kind of like, I'll fight on like a local Rogers TV station for all I care. It doesn't really matter. But like, what are your thoughts on all that there?
Yeah, man. I mean, my goal is to be in the UFC and do well. So this kind of experience, I was looking for. I want something big like this. Like main event for UFC Fight Pass is a big opportunity. So I'm not here to like. I don't really want to be here and like fight all these small shows. If I can get an opportunity like this, I'm definitely taking it because like I want to get to the next level as fast as I can. So I'm very happy and I'm very excited to get that kind of recognition and kind of get this kind of platform. I think it's a great opportunity, and I really want to make sure I use it to the best of my advantage.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because even beyond the broadcast platform, like it's a title fight, like people that are being looked at in a certain regard. So yeah, a lot of things coming together for sure.
100%. It's exciting, man. It's definitely the biggest fight I've been in, and like the more the pressure, man, like the more big it is like the more excited I get for it, the more focused I am in camp because I know how much of an opportunity this is, and I don't want to let it slip by.
Yeah, for sure, man. And just in doing some background on you there, I was noticing you'd had a couple of different gigs before you got into being a fighter there. Like, are you a full-time fighter now? Is there some level of like side gig you have or something of the sort? Like, what's the dynamic like in that regard?
Man, all I do is train or teach training, man. Like
that's awesome.
That's it. Yeah. I've made my life to a potential where I have very limited responsibility. I live very minimalistically. I don't need a lot of things. So my main focus is self-growth and self-development, and in my art and into just myself in general. So yeah, everything I do I'm telling you, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, man, it's mixed martial arts related. So that's why I'm fully focused into this. I don't have any other outside distractions that I need to worry about.
Yeah, I love hearing that, man. Good you're able to, train and you be able to focus on it in that kind of regard. I was just seeing some of the older posts there about like the landscaping and like the security jobs and stuff like that. Like, can you kind of talk about some of the different gigs you had there? Did it give you a certain level of perspective with the MMA training? Like maybe something to think of on the hard days? Like it's like, damn, I could be getting out there for some landscaping or having to do some downtown Toronto hospital security.
I think about that every day, man. Like I'm so grateful. I'm definitely so grateful that I get these opportunities and like I get to train because I've done landscaping. I was in the Canadian Armed Forces. I was reserved for a few years too, so I was away from the training scene. And man, like when you landscape all day and you try to train after that, it is a hard grind.
Oh yeah.
So I remind myself every day when I wake up and I'm like, man, all I gotta do is go teach some classes, still be involved with my art. Like I can still grow by teaching because I get to be part of the sport, and then I'm training for the day. So like honestly, I wake up, I'm never like, the grind's so real, because I'm just like, dude, this is exactly what I want to do. And even when I'm fully burnt out in training camp, like I'm just like, man, like there's literally not. If I had all the money in the world, this is what I would be doing.
Yeah, I love hearing that, man. I mean, the passion for MMA is something that resonates with me on a level of being like a media guy. So cool to hear you have a similar passion, just being locked into it the way you are. That's awesome. But usually when I have fighters on, I'm curious as to like what tunes they're jamming to and stuff like that. Like, are you a guy that's grabbing the aux cord and putting on particular tunes at Burlington Training Center? Is there like a bit of a designated kind of DJ you defer to there? Like, are you grabbing it and putting on like the 1975 Blink 182 kind of stuff, or what's the deal?
Oh man, I'm definitely I like all music, man. But when I train, I'm definitely a hip hop. Like I like listening to hip hop. I like listening to something that gets me pumped up. But then when I'm outside the gym, man, like sometimes I'll just like if I'm driving around or like I'm just hanging out at home, I like to just play beats. Like I'll just play like beats with no lyrics.
Oh yeah,
right, and just kind of like like I just try to like just relax and chill out. But when I'm at the gym, man, it's always like hip hop, something heavy that gets me in that like kill or be killed mindset.
Yeah, no doubt. And I was seeing like a while back you were, waiting for views to drop and stuff like that. I mean, not necessarily a heavy kind of project per se, but you check out Certified Lover Boy. Was that something on your radar, or perhaps not so much?
Yeah, I listened to it a little bit, man. It's a little, it's just like a little bit too like soft for me, but
yeah,
it's good, man. It's good, yeah.
I just thought
it wouldn't be something I'd bump at the gym, but I would definitely like if I'm driving or hanging out at home, I'd play that for sure.
I was gonna say I need to dig into it a bit more, but that one song with like Future on the hook, where he's like, "I'm too sexy for this world," like that's kind of a fire up.
Exactly. yeah, bro. Wouldn't be playing that at the gym.
I also thought it was kind of funny too because like obviously like Chris Lee Byrne out there in like the London, Ontario area, they're kind of stealing his gimmick a little bit with the CLB thing. That was kind of something I was thinking of there, like Munda Jiu-Jitsu getting the CLB taken a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, fun to see, no doubt, man. But you've been great with your time and fun to get to talk to you ahead of this big fight here. But just in the interest of being mindful of the rest of your schedule, man, is there maybe anything you'd like to add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up?
No, man. I think we're good, man. Yeah, I'm just very excited to show my performance, man. Like I haven't fought like it's almost been 2 years. I think it's coming up to like almost 2 years now. So
yeah.
It's been lockdown, man. But like I've literally after that my last fight, I've just been on a crazy like roller coaster of growth, and like every single week I feel like I'm getting progressively better, and I'm just so excited to go and show the world and show everybody that like at which level I'm at, because I'm at the gym and I know what level I'm at, and I just can't wait to like show the leaps and bounds I've made since my last fight.
Yeah, it's crazy to think it's been that long since that show out in Kitchener at the Odd and stuff like that. Just the Matteo Vogel fight and stuff like that. It's just, a little wild.
So long, man, yeah.
Yeah, but good to see you're able to get back out there. And, I mean, the skills were great when you were getting into that BTC fight there, but just speaking to the point of the time since then, just really excited to see what permutation of you gets out there and everything like that. And I think that's a shared sentiment among a lot of people, man.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to show you guys. It's going to be a surprise, but you'll definitely see leaps and bounds in my game for sure.
And people can see that surprise be revealed on UFC Fight Pass. It goes down September the 30th, BFL 68, a bantamweight championship affair with Gerico Platon and Serhiy Sidey getting out there. And yeah, just to reiterate, thanks for the insights and coming on the show, man. Looking forward to the fight, and you have a good rest of your day, too.
Yes, you too, man. Thank you so much for having me on.